Hi, my name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. It's review day! Today I'm going to review the Spyderco Manix 2. Is this knife the best ultralight adventure knife? Let's find out. The Spyderco Manix 2. Is this possibly the best adventure, climbing, outdoor knife? Possibly. Let's find out. Let me tell you about the ways I love this little knife. This knife actually isn't little. You can see the cool Spyderco logo on here, and they have their trademark large finger hole here. But why do I like this knife over a lot of others for climbing and adventuring? Well, it is super light, first of all. Let's just get right into the tech specs of this thing, okay? So you see this knife here. Just to give you an idea, we'll zoom into my handy dandy scale here. And I'll show you just how much this white knife does not weigh. Okay. Yeah, this knife is 3 ounces. I mean, that's like nothing. Compare that to my zero tolerance beefcake knife. That thing is 5 ounces, maybe a little bit more, 5.1. So the Spyderco knife is much, much lighter. I mean, it's like half the weight of my larger zero tolerance knife. So that's a huge advantage right there. When I'm climbing, the last thing I want to do is carry any more weight with me than possible. Now, you might say, Aaron, why are you complaining about 2 ounces? Well, if I have 2 ounces here and I've got another piece of gear that weighs 2 ounces and blah, 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 very quickly I'm carrying nearly a pound. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but when I backpack and I climb, I use the Alpine style. I'm an ultralight guy. Normally my base pack weight is about 12 pounds. I mean, it's nothing. When I'm doing really well, it gets down to 9, 10, maybe 11 pounds. So adding a couple of ounces in knife actually adds a lot of weight for me. I can actually start telling. Huge difference, right? Another advantage of this guy is the completely polymer or plastic handle. There's virtually, other than the blade, there is no metal on this thing. So when it is freezing cold, I can grab this knife handle and it does not freeze my hands at all. Only the rivets through here and the blade and the pocket clip are the only things that are metal on this. So I have taken this knife up Denali. I couldn't take it to Kilimanjaro because I didn't want to lose it and fly, but I didn't need a knife because I had a crew. But this thing on Denali, love it. Super light. I don't even notice it's there, but it's got good cutting potential. So let me show you just how big this knife is and to give you a comparison. So I'm going to measure it out here just for you. You can see the blade here. That's about 3 inches of cutting surface. And the entire knife right here is just about 8 inches long, so not too shabby. How does that compare with, say, a paring knife in your kitchen? So here's my classic OXO inexpensive 420 stainless. Compare this to the Spyderco Manix, very comparable. The blade length, pretty comparable. So why wouldn't they carry the OXO? Well, it's flexible and it doesn't have a sheath, although it would totally do it. But this guy folding is very nice. Also, the thumb hole is a sweet, sweet feature. Another thing about this knife is the release on here. When you open the blade, and I'll watch, see this action right here? That little click locks in the blade. Now, as a polymer handle, it's not the stiffest handle on the pocket knife, but it's incredibly sturdy. When I try and flex this, no real flexing happens. Another advantage of this particular knife for cutting things is the on the blade jimping and then the spine jimping. Now, jimping is a fact of what's called little notches on here. It's a very strange name, but that's what they call these little grooves on here. And the big advantage is when you're holding your knife and you hold that to cut things with it, this jimping allows you better traction than if you're slipping on the back of the blade. This works really well. The grip factor back here, pretty positive too. Now you also, if you needed to do finer work, you do have the possibility of the jimping here. I typically wouldn't hold my knife here because it's easy to slip and I'm not going to cut myself. The finger guard on this particular knife is excellent. Love it. So when you hold the knife here, it feels very solid. One of the things about that too is that I've never felt threatened like, oh, I'm going to slip and slash my hands at all. It just doesn't happen. So you simply pull this guy down, flick it closed. This guy is easy to open one-handed. So that's a huge advantage. The Spyderco uses their CTS BD1 steel on this particular blade. It's listed as an experimental steel, but so far, boy, this thing holds an edge like crazy. The chrome or the stainlessness on it, you can see it's so stainless that I get my little greasy palms on it because I've been handling other knives this morning, but you can wipe it off. It's super smooth. This is a flat ground blade. It doesn't have any hollowing in it at all, so it will tend to take abuse a bit more. This is not a true like hack the heck out of stuff knife. You could possibly break the handle, but suffice to say it's been on a couple mountains, lots of trips, no problem. The one thing about the pocket clip, I have put this in my pocket and snagged it on the seatbelt, pulled the seatbelt off, didn't notice, and it's kind of pried this guy back a little bit, so it's loose in my pocket. But all I need to do is bust out with an Allen wrench, loosen this guy up, and voila, easy enough. So very, very nice. It doesn't quite swing on its own, which I like, but so easy. You can open it two-handed, of course, but the thumb hole is just such a nice feature. It makes it like, I wouldn't say idiot-proof, but no problem. On this particular blade, there is an option to change the pocket clip to the other side, so if you're left-handed. Also, let me show you on here what it looks like in the pocket. Let me take my other knife out. So when I slip this in my pocket there, it looks very well, has a low impression. It's not like I'm trying to hide the knife, just doesn't stick up ridiculously high. I can grab this, get my knife open, and start cutting on things quite immediately. So that is a big benefit. So let me show you the performance of the knife here. Let me get the old cardboard slash option just to give you an idea of what this knife is capable of. Cardboard is probably one of the worst things ever for your knife. That's why I typically use a box cutter to cut cardboard. But this particular knife, it penetrates and it cuts without any problem at all. Easy. Now, as far as penetrating plastic on a direct on a direct stabbing action, if you need to stab through a container, how well does this thing work? Let me zoom out here. So you can see I've done quite a few samples of stabbing testing, but you push in here, wiggle, and boom, it penetrates no problem. Let's see, where's the blade in there? There you go. Easy to do. It draws out, you get it broken loose, and it comes out super easy. So the design of this blade doesn't get it stuck, so if you need to stab through things and cut, the blade on here does very, very well. The Spyderco Manix 2 knife, I love this thing. It is great. It's so light. It doesn't even feel like a real knife, but the steel is the real deal. The back spine of the blade is incredibly solid. I've never felt like, oh boy, I'm going to break this thing. Never, ever. So the only thing of all pocket clips, just like my pocket clip here, I've snagged that and bent it. I'll just use a tool, pry it back, but easy enough to get this guy going. Pocket clip. Highly recommend the Manix 2 if you want an ultralight, super solid knife for adventuring or climbing. It's got a nice little lanyard hole so you can put some 550 cord, use it for climbing, so if you do need to cut a rope or something goes wrong, camping, fishing, can't go wrong with this guy. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Please like and comment on my video. To check out the links to this knife or any of the other items, check out YouTube here. Just on the video, click on the little down arrow. It expands out. You'll find the link to this knife and all the items that I showed here. By the way, word of full disclosure, I am not sponsored by Spyderco. They don't send me free knives. I don't receive financial compensation for reviewing these. I just like to bring these to you to show you the different products, what they're like, and how good they are. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Please subscribe on my channel, hit the little bell, ring-a-ding-ding, that way you can get news and updates. Also, support my channel on Venmo, PayPal, and Patreon. Thank you very much for watching.